Happy Leo season. It is me, Lauren B. I'm here to do the collective reading for Leo season. I did it for Gemini season, I did it for Cancer season, and now we are on to Leo season. So that is very exciting. It's a nice little tradition that we are upholding. I have been working through downloads for a few days for you guys. And I think we're going to pull some cards too. We're going to have a bit of a good time, I hope. And so I just want to wait a couple minutes and see if any of the bees kind of buzz on in. And then we'll kind of break down some of the messages that I've been getting for the season. I hope you're all happy to be in Leo season because I am beyond grateful to be in Leo season. Cancer season was enough for me. Cancer season is just not it for your girl. Love Cancers, don't love Cancer season. Water seasons in general, it's tricky for me, but I'm a water sign too. Hi Charlize. Hey girl. There's like a glare. I mean, I'm feeling golden pony boy, but I also am looking like a little metallic. Yeah, that's better. I was like, there's like a glow. I guess it's the sun. The Leo sun's really just like radiating in on your girl today. Hi, Caribbean Queen. How are you? I love you guys too. So, the winners have been chosen. By the way. Oh, thanks, Charlotte. You girls are so sweet. The winners have been chosen for the reading giveaway. I closed. Hi, Corey. How are you? My live is weird. Like, is it buffering? Is it stalling? Is it all right? Are we okay? Oh, yeah. I don't know. On my computer, it says that there are 7 people watching, so. The winners have been chosen for the reading giveaway. So I closed the comment section because I didn't want people to boop, 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 keep commenting. So I closed the comment section, and then on Sunday, I will announce the winners. The winners. Has YouTube been doing it all week? I haven't really noticed. I haven't been live since the Cancer season live stream. I don't think I have. I haven't been live since then. But I've been so busy, y'all. I've been so busy. I'm almost done. We're just hanging out right now. Before we get into the downloads, wait for a few more people to get in here. But I already started the monthly readings for August. I'm actually almost done with them. I have 3 more left, which is very early for me, which is exciting. There's a reason for that. I don't know why. Next week I would normally do the monthlies, but they obviously want me to be doing something else next week. Maybe doing the extra readings for the giveaway. I don't know. But they're almost done. 3 more. I should be done with them tomorrow. And they should be all uploaded on Vimeo on Monday. For those of you that are not Patreons. The Patreons have access to the monthly readings. I know Corey does. Hey, Chaos Rising. How you doing? I caught you dusting. That's good. A little cleaning. Clean out that energy. Leo season just gives us a lot more energy. Cancer season was like really just tiring. Like emotionally tiring. Emotionally tiring for everyone. As the shower in the room next door goes off. That's nice. That's nice symbolism right there. So I'm like very excited to be in the Leo energy. I feel like I have a lot more energy. I feel like very enthusiastic. My productivity the last 2 days has been off the charts. Absolutely off the charts. What, I did 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've done between yesterday and today, I've done like 13 readings. This will be like my 14th reading from yesterday into today. I'm unstoppable. Leo season. Spirit warfare is over, bring on the fire. Yeah, and so what I was experiencing a lot during Cancer season, particularly the last half of it, was it was this fire energy coming in a little prematurely, but it was coming through as a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of these waves of sacred rage coming in. And now in Leo season, and it depends which wave you were on. Now that energy is being channeled into productivity, it's being channeled into like birth, it's being channeled into projects. But that is if you were experiencing that wave of anger like a week or two ago. Now you're in the honing period where that anger has been channeled. If you're just experiencing at the beginning of Leo season the anger, the sacred rage, the frustration, well, probably by next week you're going to start channeling it into creative pursuits. It just depends which kind of wave that you're on. We're all on our different timelines, yes? Let's see. Cancer rising. Oh, hi, Eve. Everlong Mystic. Oh, Ariel. Hi, Samana. I know, it's so funny waiting till 7 a.m. your time. I was going to do this probably a half hour ago, and they were like, wait. But I got off a session with a client a half hour ago, and I was going to immediately go live. And they're like, why don't you wait a couple minutes? But I also did 1, 2, 3, 4. I also did 5 monthly readings before I did my session with my client. And so they're like, why don't you take a half hour? And calm down, Lauren. We know you're feeling productive. That Capricorn North Node's really kicking in for you, but just give it a minute. I was like, okay. Hi, Amy. Caribbean Queen. How can I gift you a deck? Do you have a Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Caribbean Queen. I appreciate you. In my description box, there's a link under wish list donations to my link tree. In my link tree, there's my Amazon wish list in there, and that has a bunch of tarot decks, just random things that I pop on there sometimes. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Jackie. Hi, Jackie from Scotland. Ooh. Aw, thanks, Charlize. You guys are so sweet. And it's important to remember that depending on where you live, the full moon in Aquarius, it starts tonight. For me, I don't count this as a full moon day because the full moon in Eastern Standard Time doesn't kick on until 10:30 tonight. So I count tomorrow as really the full moon day. I am going to put out, some jugs tonight for my full moon water. So I can water my plants with it, water my space. I kind of want to make a video for the worker bee about moon water. But I need to make some new charts for it. I have some new packages coming in today. We're just hanging out right now. We're gonna break into these downloads in a minute. I have some packages coming today. I hope that they come during this live stream, so that way I could do a little unboxing of some treats that I got for myself when I was treating myself. But I don't know if they'll be here in time. But we're doing on my Patreon. I have the worker bee tier, where we're working through all different kinds of stuff. We just did the Claire abilities. We're working through candle magic right now, and so I got a whole bunch of new candles for spiritual color theory. I got some new crystals when we talk about anointing candles, incantations, rituals, all different kinds of stuff. I'm just really excited. The best days for workings, I'm so excited for candle magic. I know you guys are excited for candle magic too. That's really where I shine, is candle magic. Aqua Sun, Leo Moon. Oh, those are great placements, Chaos. Green Goddess, hello. Hello. Yeah, I made you a moderator, I think during the Cancer stream, Corey. You got a blue check mark. You know that. Hi, Ray. This title, saw it as uploading something. Yeah, the Leo energy is really, really strong. I believe the Leo reading, their monthly reading, is called A Force to Be Reckoned With. And one of the downloads that I had pulled in for Leo this month was Fire in the Hole, which is pretty intense. There's a big energy of stepping up to the plate, forces to be reckoned with. At the end of the Cancer stream, I was talking a lot about letting yourself be great. Let yourself be great. Let God be great. Let miracles happen to you. Really just, and a lot of the purpose of that was to kind of plant these seeds of being capable of greatness, of being able to see that come into your life. And I feel throughout the course of Cancer season, that seed has been watered and watered and watered. And now in Leo season is the time for it really to sprout, for the time for the greatness that is within you to really step up to the plate. And a lot of us shy away from that because it does require a certain level of responsibility, visibility, and accountability. And that can make us really step back a little bit. I believe it was Water Baby Tarot who had done, but I think it was a Virgo reading earlier in Cancer season, and it was about the price of insecurity. And that reading had really stuck out to me about what is the price of insecurity. The price is that you don't get to see things come to pass for yourself, that you miss opportunities because you're afraid of the responsibility of what it means to be successful, of what it means to be great, what it means to have to show up to the plate and know that people are looking at you waiting to see if you're going to hit it out of the park. And there's been so much collectively and within kind of the group of readers that we're in about the message of like going with the flow. And this had come through, I believe, in the Libra reading that I had just done about the distinction in flow. There's one thing to go with the flow. There's one thing to go with the collective flow, but there's another thing about going with your flow. And part of what's coming through in Leo season for the collective is about finding out what your flow is, because going with your flow is different than going with the collective flow. And it was 11:11 on the clock as I said that, and 11s have been coming up for me for days and days and days. And for me, 11s talk about alignment and they talk about portal energies, and we do have Lion's Gate on August 8th, 8-8 portal. 8-8 for me as a reader is also very much of a Capricornian energy. It's about having Saturn, having Kronos work for you, really applying the lessons, the skills, the abilities that you've spent so long harnessing the first half of 2021 and really applying them and making them work for you in a new way. Taking things, as I've been saying a lot in the readings, from theoretical to applicable. And there's a big theme for Leo season about taking spiritual themes, esoteric themes, and really combining them, coming into union with the natural. So the super and the natural are coming together, right? As almost like a double portion. I'm getting a lot of double portion of effectiveness and efficiency in seeing these manifestations come to pass. I do sense that Leo season is when we're going to start seeing a lot of physical manifestations finally come to pass after a very, very long time of waiting, which has bred a lot of frustration in the collective body. No one wants to hear the word patience anymore. And I understand that, right? But there's been a good reason for it. It's been allowing this incoming fire to really burn away layers of you that no longer serve you, even if that's layers of insecurity, of self-sabotage. Seven of Swords has been coming up a lot in the past few days in the readings. It's come up a few times in the monthly readings for August as well, and it's just talking about ways in which we self-sabotage ourselves. And really needing to do better in August because we know better. So if we want better, then we have to step up very significantly to that plate. And it is very much a month, very on brand for Leo, of saying it with your chest, doing it with your chest, not backing down, not leaning into fights, but not backing down off of your hill because it may be unpopular or it may make you a little bit nervous, or if you're not sure if you are capable of it. This is a big month where I've said it plenty of times before that God doesn't call the equipped. He equips the called. And so if you've been called to do something, if you've been called to say something, if you've been called to take a stand, well, you need to do that. And you gotta put 2 feet into it. Leo season is not a season of riding the fence. It is a season of picking which side of the fence you want to be on. And in the Cancer season stream, what I had expressed is that there were 2 modes of transportation. There was an escalator and there was one of those airport sidewalks. And sooner or later, everyone was going to get where they wanted to go. But this is very much of a month that they gave you Cancer season. They gave us Cancer season to really think about that. Do you want to go on the airport sidewalk, or do you want to go on the escalator? Both equate to one side of the fence. Both are fine. Neither is right and neither is wrong. But it's a decision point. A lot of what's been coming through in the August monthlies, it's about making a decision. It's not a process. It's not a meditation. It's not a aspect of shadow work in August. It's a matter of making a decision. Do you want in, or do you want to sit this one on the bench? Both are absolutely fine. It's about what you want to do. Again, going with your flow. Not the collective flow, not your friend's flow, with your flow, because your flow might be against the current. Your flow might be against the grain. And if that is authentic to you, then you got to lean into it with your whole chest out, because those are moments that are really going to show your greatness. Those are going to be moments in Leo season that are going to exhibit, not just internally, but externally, your commitment to self, your commitment to the divine and what they're asking you to do, right? Let me check this chat before I completely go off into my Leo preaching mode. Your uncle used the term, welcome God conscience to the seer and energy. Power up. They keep playing me that song. Light them up. Boop, ba-doop, boop, 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 ba-da-doop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. I was talking to your inner child. Natural by Imagine Dragons. Yep, absolutely. Preach. I want the hill. I want the hill. I want to go on the hill. I want to die on the hill. Let's see. And this stream is a really good example of that, because, as I said, I did 5 monthlies this morning, and then I just did a session with a client, and I was really tired, and I was like, you know what, I really kind of just want to put on, like, my comfy pants, and, like, maybe have some snacks, and, like, maybe just be lazy for the rest of the day. And they're like, you can do that, Lauren. You can absolutely do that. But you could also step up to the plate and do this, too. And I was like, they're like, do you really want to put it off for another day? And I was like, no, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to step up to the plate. And then they put on Pump Up the Jams on the Shufflemancy for me. And I was like, all right, pump up the jams. Let's do this. Let's do this. What do you do when you feel like you're not doing enough, but you're constantly doing? That's a worthiness issue. That's a rest issue, right? You could do nothing all day and completely fulfill your portion for the day. And you can do the absolute most and still not do the thing that you were supposed to do that day, because it depends what's being asked of you. And that requires you to be in tune with your vessel and also in tune with spirit at the same time. And I always say, Shannon Yvette says this all the time, that there's a difference between rest, because oftentimes you could be sitting around doing nothing, watching TV, eating some chips, having a little snacky snack, and you could be toiling in your mind, in your emotions, in your spirit, just wrecked like a ravaged sea. And that's not really rest. It may look like it's rest. You may be physically kind of sedentary, but you're not actually resting, right? And you could also be at work, and you could be busy, and you could be doing a bunch of stuff all day, and you could be completely at peace. This came through in one of the monthly readings as well, that your equilibrium is in a place of peace. I believe it was Pisces reading. I've been working all day. It is 1:30 almost here in New Jersey, and I've been working straight through since 8:30 this morning. And I've pretty much been at rest the whole time, because I've been in flow, right? And oftentimes we have to remember that we are raised in a society that is hustle, and it's grind, and it's, pedal to the metal. What pedal? What metal? Right? And some days your best is not going to be like what it is for other days. A few days ago, I did like one thing, and that was the best that I had. And I had to honor that and feel good that I got that thing done. And then there are periods of time, like the last 2 days, where this is the 14th reading that I've done in 2 days, and I honor that too. But the work I did on that day is no better or no worse than the work I've done the last 2 days. It's about talking to the vessel. It's about listening to what's being asked of me. That ties very similarly into the collective lot reading that I had done last week. And I do believe this weekend, maybe tomorrow, but likely on Sunday, I'm going to do another collective lot video as well about emptying the vessel. And some days you have more to empty out to be refilled, and some days you don't have that much to empty out. And it goes case by case. It goes day by day, moment by moment. You've been up since 3 a.m. Did I do this out of lack? Yeah. Are you overly exhausting yourself just so that way you can feel productive? Productivity is not intrinsic to your worth as a person. And that is something that me, as someone with quite a few significant Capricorn placements, have to continually keep in check, because I can very easily tie my productivity into my value, right? And if I don't do a lot on a certain day, then I feel like I didn't earn my keep, as if that's even a real thing. That's just a narrative. So that's something that I've had to work through, and I have to continually stay on top of. It's Dana from the Pink Peony Oracle. Not too much. Hi, Patrick. Hi, Noodle. Not too much. I'm kind of just snowballing right now, and then I'm going to break down these downloads a little bit. I'm kind of just compiling, drawing a common thread between some of the downloads that I've gotten for this month with the collective lots with the Cancer collective reading that I had done last month. I guess it was this month. It was earlier this month. I believe so. I'm like looking at my calendar. I'm like, Let me see. Been up since 3 a.m. Oh, yeah. I got up at like 4:12 in the morning, and then I went back to sleep for a little bit. I listened to every Beastie Boys album I owned yesterday and danced all over the place. Good for you. Boy, I've had some insomnia. Yeah, the dreams have been really kind of sketchy. They've been really all over the place. A lot of symbolism, a lot of prophetic dreams coming in. Got the message, Green Goddess. How much have I missed? Right, got so many messages and ideas. This is a really big gestation period. And during the Cancer season live stream, I was talking a lot about no longer throwing seeds on top of concrete and then being upset when they don't grow. And so I think a lot of you, even if you didn't hear that message, picked up on it yourselves intuitively and really reinvested a lot of your energy, which is why you're seeing a lot of things come into fruition for yourself, the physical manifestation in Leo season. However, the way from what I've garnered, the way God likes to he likes to rotate crops, right? It's not just one season of harvest. That once you start kind of getting a little, like the wheels start turning for you, it wants to be a continual harvest. So that requires you to be kind of reaping and harvesting while also continually planting new seeds. No, we did not pray yet. We're going to pray very soon. Continuing to plant new seeds as other crops kind of grow up, which also creates intellectual and spiritual stimulation, because most of us, when we get bored due to a lack of variety, we let things kind of fall to the sidelines, right? Which is oftentimes why you see on my channel, I'm always kind of working on something new. I have my consistent crops and harvest. I have the weeklies, I do the Patreon, I do the monthlies, but then they'll have me add extra things in, like these monthly seasonal check-ins, like the Divine Feminine series, or the Untitled Totems, or the lots. Like, they'll have me add in new elements, so that way, while I have my consistent crops that I always go back and do and I'm responsible for, I'm also planting new seeds for the future that add variety and different layers of kind of textures and colors and different ways to get kind of spiritual nutrition as well, which keeps it interesting for me, but it also keeps it fresh and interesting for you too. Random gifts, yeah. They're starting to trickle in. It's been really amazing. Ogres have layers. Yes, ogres do have layers. So, let me see. I have my notes. It was interesting the way they gave me these downloads, because I was getting ready the other morning and I had the Shufflemancy on. And I was asking him, I was like, I feel like I'm pulling in a little bit about Leo season, but I don't really know what you want me to talk about. And the next thing you know, the Shufflemancy, ask and you shall receive, immediately went in order of the messages that they wanted me to receive and what they wanted me to deliver to you guys. Now, what I thought was really interesting is that I had 3 21 Pilot songs right in a row, which is incredibly unusual from a playlist that is on shuffle that has like 750 songs. And so just the name of that band, 21 Pilots, we are in the last half of 2021. And this is part of the paradigm shift. This is part of the collective split. This is part of the timeline kind of quantum jumping that we collectively have all been talking about for a long time. Really get ready, because Leo season basically feels like the new year, especially with this Lionsgate portal. We're really kicking off into a new energy. It's going to feel like an entire year within this next 6 months. It's going to be very condensed, almost like a spiritual bouillon cube, right? Absolutely the reversing of 2012 and 2021. And what is a pilot? A pilot is someone that flies in the air. What does the air represent? It represents your thoughts. It represents your downloads. It represents your connection to the divine. So, and I also pulled in like fighter pilots. So for the last half of 2021, what is going to be extremely imperative is that you know how to fly your plane. We always say calm seas never made a good sailor, right? We've been working so much through the emotional processes that we go through, but we've paid less attention to the mind. right? It's been trying to turn off the mind and really get into the feelings. But now that we've processed so much of our feelings through what a chaotic Cancer season it was, it's time to move back up to thoughts. It's time to move back to your mind and really clear out the clutter from there. Very similar to air season, Gemini season, when I was talking about pulling the doors off of the cupboards and seeing how everything is kind of organized in your thoughts, your downloads, that kind of thing. And needing to be really, I don't want to use the word on guard because it sounds a little defensive, but needing to be really mindful of what's coming in and out of your head. About thoughts that are coming in. Thoughts like that are negative self-talk, self-deprecation, defeatism, intrusive thoughts like interfering energies that come in and try and screw with your head and make you really confused or make you feel like you can't do anything. This is really part of the fighter pilot energy that's coming in, that we know better and we need to do a little bit better. Part of this stepping up to the plate, it's for us as well, really applying the things that we've learned and also applying what we preach to others as well. So needing to be really mindful of the thoughts coming in and out of our head, of the downloads that are coming in as well. It's almost the don't take no for an answer. If something's coming in, if it's an aspect of your shadow or your ego that's putting you in that lower timeline, that's putting you in that stream of thought, that's saying, hey, I don't know if you can do this. Hey, it's too hard. Hey, I've already been through so much. It's like, hey, cut that out. Cut that baby bullshit out. We're not doing that anymore. We have to focus. We're in Virgo season is harvest season. We have to pay attention to the crops. We have to make sure that we're talking to ourselves like we're actually decent people. If you wouldn't say it out of your mouth to someone else, don't say it in your mind to yourself. This is about being disciplined. This is about using Saturn, that Chronos energy, to work for you. Leo is about loyalty. You need to stay loyal to yourself, to the progress that you've made. You've come too far to talk to yourself like you are a piece of shit. You've come too far. You've worked too hard, blood, sweat, and tears on this spiritual journey in order for you to fall into despondency. I can't do it. It's been so long. Yeah, it has been a really long time. So now's the time you wanna throw in the towel? That seems like a silly time after you've invested so much energy into waiting for these promises and building up this future for yourself. That's what you're gonna do? No. Because so many of the things that we say to ourselves, so many of the narratives, the seeds get planted into our head that then we water through our own emotions. If we were to hear it come out of someone else's mouth, we would tell them that they were nuts, that they shouldn't give up. They need to believe in themselves. They need to believe in God more. So we need to, again, say that with our chest to ourselves. We need to practice what we preach. Because again, Leo season, lions, it's pride. It's a matter of personal pride, and it's not coming from that lower vibration of pride. It's coming from pride in your ability to have perseverance, to be resilient, to be a little bit more like Teflon. We're all going to have bad days, but to allow it to roll off you, to observe the emotions, to observe the thoughts, but not claim them, not marry yourself to them if they're not going to serve you positively. Again, we do the same thing when it comes to people. Places and situations, if they're going to be toxic, if they're not going to serve you, like if they're not going to be in your highest and best good, they got to go. So you got to do that to yourself when it comes to the way you act, the way you behave, the way you take care of yourself, the things you think to yourself. The same rules apply to you that apply to the external world. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Let me see. Yeah, it is. August is a lot about reversal. We're doing the full-on Missy Elliott. Putting our things down, flipping them, reversing them. Spiritual bouillon cube. Yeah. Heavy focus group for the last 2 weeks. Oh, hi, Garrett. Hi, baby. You can always watch it on the replay. We haven't even fully gotten into these downloads. I'm in a mode right now. I just did the Aquarius Monthly this morning. I was thinking of you. I need to calm down. I need to center myself. But it's like this fire energy, which again, like 2 weeks ago, it was coming through a lot as anger and frustration and rage. Now it's coming through as like fuel, motivation, excitement. But I also have to calm myself down so I can speak in a little bit of a cohesive manner. Does that make sense? I almost had another coffee and they're like, why don't you have a CBD seltzer? I'm like, okay, I shall. I'm wondering if you guys have been seeing a lot of animal symbolism in your dreams. That's a question I have for you that I would like you to think about. Because I often find we have a lot of strange dreams. Some of it's us internally processing, some of it's interference. I often find when animals come to you in your dreams, they're usually in the field of prophetic. They usually come from the divine. So I'm wondering if there's a commonality in the animal symbolism that you guys have been seeing. Turtles. Ooh. Turtles have been coming up a lot. Turtles talk a lot about longevity. Massive horses, yep. Foxes. Because these animal symbolisms, what they're going to be doing for you in the month of August is they're going to be giving you an idea of what you need to be focusing on and what energies you need to be harnessing. Foxes, for example, that talks a lot about being very clever, right? That there are kind of clever and creative solutions to very kind of basic problems. Resources, ideas, solutions that may not seem obvious, but they are if you take a little bit of a closer look. Turtles talk a lot about longevity. Turtle shells also hold the honeycomb, sacred geometry, natural principle of building. Yep, absolutely. Very 10 of Pentacles energy with the turtles. Horses, they talk a lot about freedom. They talk a lot about your sacred sexuality, which is very much in conjunction to your root chakra. I saw a horse in my dream the other night. Pay attention to the colors of the animals as well. It's, you know, if you saw a white horse, a brown horse, a black horse, that will give you a very specific message as well about what they want you to focus on to either harness or either to heal. A lemur. Wow, that is nifty. I like that. Someone saw a lobster. I like that a lot too. Why do you think I'm cleaning? Cleaning energy like crazy. Amy, I often find that I've been having that itch too to like do another big purge. And oftentimes when they give you the instinct to clean, when they give you the instinct to purge, to reorganize, do that kind of stuff, it's because you're doing something physical in order to create spiritual, energetic room for new things to come in. And this is part of the bridging the gap in the internal union between you and the natural and you, the divinity of you as well, is that we've been talking so much about feminine energy, kind of in and of itself. We've been talking a lot about masculine energy in and of itself, but there's a union energy, which really comes down to feminine and masculine. What it really breaks down to is divine passive, divine receptive, and divine action energy, which is often a term that I like to use, particularly if I'm dealing with like non-binary clients who aren't comfortable with terms feminine or masculine. They prefer terms like passive and active. And so it's about taking downloads, taking messages, taking ideas, instincts, and then pairing them with a physical action. So you get the download that you have to clean. So you pair it with the physical action, and then you get the download that something may be coming in for you, and then physically it does. It's going a little bit like this. It's almost like building a ladder. Passive, active, feminine, masculine. And that's kind of the hierarchy. It's very hierophant. It's orderly. God is an orderly God. Red lobster. A hawk. I saw a hawk this morning. It followed me to the liquor store to get my CBD seltzers and right back home. Trying to forget that dream. Feel Venus and Virgo is pushing me clean too. Sacred and salty. Yes, absolutely. Venus is in Virgo, which is fine-tuned details. And I feel a lot of readers have been in the same mindset as me, and you guys normally know I don't do typically like love readings. They come on occasionally if they're meant to, but that's not where I focus. But I actually do see a lot of relationships of all forms, platonic, familial, romantic, but I do see a big wave of romantic relationships coming together during Leo season as well during this portal energy. A hawk feather, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm gonna shuffle this deck and then we're gonna pray and then we'll start breaking into these downloads at 33 minutes in. I told you I had a lot of energy. It's like I'm kind of tired, but I also have like a ton of energy. So I'm just kind of pouring out the cup, you know? Great for cleaning spaces. Yeah, you make a little moon water tonight. Get a little hawk feather. Oh, it is Friday, isn't it? It is Friday. I have absolutely no concept of the days. Corey and I were talking about like timelines and stuff, and I was like, do you feel like we're like 3 days ahead? Because I feel like I'm 3 or 4 days ahead of the actual time, and then I'll feel like I'm back on the right day. And then I'll feel like it'll be a Tuesday and it'll feel like Friday. And then Wednesday will come and I'll feel like it's Monday. It's like this pulling, and it's interesting. It's like going into the future and then anchoring it in the present. Going into the future and then anchoring it back in the present. Time warp, yeah. Let's do the time warp again. Dude, your energy is making me want to jog while listening. I feel like, personally, they have me do that a lot. Like, for Gemini season, they had me do that meditation and the energy clearing because they wanted me to go in and, like, be, like, that very calming influence. Whereas Cancer season, they wanted me to come in and, like, really kind of do my freedom writers, like, inspirational, like, let's preach it, like, hold spirit, Espiritu Santi, like, come on through. And Leo season, again, sort of like how I did the channeled message about praying with audacity, they really are having me kind of pour in a lot of like gasoline, a lot of fuel in the tank. I also used to be a cheerleader, so I have a very much of that go team kind of way about me as well, which is why I'm like trying to channel my excitement and my enthusiasm. Use a turkey feather to cleanse your table. You know, I actually really love that because, you know, turkey is Thanksgiving. Makes me wonder if I should pull out the bird deck for you guys. I've been pulling in a lot of this fall energy. It's almost as though August is going to go in like a flash. Like us really needing fall harvest season. August feels very much like finishing touches as well for me is coming through. Do you put your special things you find out in the full moon? I oftentimes do. It depends. Not every full moon. I do it when I'm guided to do it. Like tonight I'll put out some water for some moon water, which sometimes I make, sometimes I don't. I'll put my crystals in the window so that way they can charge. I have new crystals coming. Oh, you're so good. I just realized I have new crystals coming today. It's a perfect night to charge them. Yes, because I'm going to use them in my candle magic. Come on through, Spirit. I see you. I see you working. So it depends. Like I'll take off like my like I'll kind of just whoop, I'll let everything, I'll cleanse it and then I'll charge it. But for me, again, the full moon doesn't come in until like 10:30 tonight. So tomorrow is what I consider like that's full moon day. Tonight is like full moon pregame because I'll be, by the time the full moon finally comes in, I'll be in bed. I'll be in bed at 10:30. I'm really excited about my packages though, coming in. I got new candles. I got new jars. I got new crystals. I found this really cool crystal shop in New Jersey and they have a shop on Etsy. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I really like treated myself a little bit. All right, let's see. Calm myself down. I'm running on pure Leo Sun and Capricorn North Node energy. I'm gonna burn my little ass out is what I'm gonna do. But we'll go over the Shufflemancy download list. We're gonna pray first. And if you guys don't use the Shufflemancy for yourself, I do highly encourage you to do it. It is a public playlist on my channel. You kind of just center yourself, ask for a message that you need, and then click the Shufflemancy and kind of see what you get. You can also do it yourself with the radio, with your own Pandora, with your own Spotify, SoundCloud, make your own YouTube playlist, make your own Shufflemancy. You all have channels. Just because you don't post, you can still make playlists on your channel. I say go for it. It's a really good way to kind of get messages in another way, especially if you are very clairaudient or if you're trying to grow your clairaudience, which is a method that we used on the Worker Bee tier on my Patreon. Moon water and hawk feathers, yes. All right, let's pray. We're gonna pop into these downloads, even though I feel like we already have, but Father God, thank you for bringing me and the collective in. For this seasonal reading, I ask that you give me wisdom, clarity, and discernment to deliver these messages accurately for everyone's highest of love, light, alignment, and assignment. We praise you, we love you, we thank you always. We give you all the glory and the honor for these messages. To the utmost high, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen, y'all. So, the first song that had come on the Shufflemancy for me was that song Stressed Out by 21 Pilots, right? When I got older, I was told that all my fears would shrink. And now I'm insecure and I care what people think. And I think that that's still an issue for a lot of us that we would have assumed we would be through already. The external validation is still an issue for a lot of us. I'm not sure if that's something that ever really totally goes away, but it's something to be really mindful of. I've been on this journey for so long. I've done so much work. I've done so much kind of separating from the matrix, and yet I'm still really mindful of the way people view me. What do I do about that, right? Yeah, my name's Blurry Face, and I care what you think. And I think that that's a really interesting thing. And so this is where the Fire in the Hole download had come in for me. Fire in the hole, and this came up in Leo's monthly reading as well. And I wanted to look into that saying a little more because I wasn't really sure where it originated from. And it originates from miners. And when there is a bunch of stuck rock in a mine, what they would do is they would light a stick of dynamite in order to break up all of the blockages, right, into smaller bits of debris so it could be taken out and they could really get to the gold, right? Because we've been sifting through a lot of fool's gold for a long, long time now. And so this fire in the hole is something that is being basically cast on the collective, and it's going to be something different for all of you. And what it's going to do is you're going to be asked to do something. And I believe Reem was talking about this in her gate 6, I think it was 6 reading as well, is that you're going to be asked to do things that are a little bit different, that there are a lot of assignment changes, which also came through in the channeled message that I had done the other day. And these may be things that may make you a little bit unpopular. They may be different than what you normally do. They may be different than what people normally expect of you. And it's going to bring on this wave of, oh my God, how are people going to view me? How are people going to receive this message, receive this project, receive this expression of myself? The universe, the divine God, is basically throwing a stick of dynamite right in front of you and asking you to do something, right, that may be a little intimidating to you, that may make you feel as though you will receive some kind of backlash or negative perception from it. And it's to get you to really kind of almost like a shock, to kind of shock you out of this need for external validation, of feeling a little insecure about caring what people think. Because what you will put out there, they might not like it. They might love it, but you don't know. But what's most important is that you do it. Is one, it's that you're obedient, and I know we don't love that word, but it's that way you are obedient to what your spiritual team is asking you to do. And I had mentioned this in the channeled message I did the other day, that obedience is better than sacrifice, right? Measure twice, cut once. I find that I need to sacrifice a lot less when I just do what's being asked of me when it's being asked of me. Because it is all for my highest good. Even if it makes me a little nervous or it's like a little bit uncomfortable. And so because after so long, because being through so many different situations, we still have this need for external validation. We still are very concerned. It's one thing about being aware of what other people think, but it's another thing about being concerned about it. To really care, to invest that time and energy and allow it to change or manipulate or edit what it is that you're doing or what you're being asked to do, right? Adjusting your flow to the collective flow, even if it's going in a direction that doesn't really work for you. And so the divine is coming in August and throwing a stick of dynamite, and you're going to be asked to do something. You're going to have an assignment change. You're going to be asked to go and stand on some kind of hill because, like I said, there are these waves of anger and frustration, fury, rage coming in. And that is a normal process, and that is something that needs to be worked through. However, there is this message of a rebel without a cause, that anger only gets shit done when you're able to channel it into motivation. You're able to put it into a stream of consciousness, into a purpose. That August is not a month of a rebel without a cause. If you're going to be a rebel, if you're going to be angry, well then we're going to give you something to be angry about. We're going to give you a cause. We're going to give you a purpose. We're going to give you something to channel that into that can be constructive, because destructive anger is no longer the name of the game. This is stepping up to the plate. You're angry? Okay, well, let's do something about that. Let's work on the shadow, let's work on the personal healing, and let's channel that frustration into something that can be actualized as progressive and constructive change in your life that can be shared with other people. And in doing that, you're going to ruffle a few feathers, and you're not going to be able to hide behind what people may or may not think about what it is that you're doing and aspects of yourself that are coming to the forefront. This is you standing on your own hill, on 2 feet, chest out. It's not aggressive. It's not cruel against other people. It's not you actively seeking conflict, but it's you actively and progressively standing in your authenticity, doing things that previously you've been too afraid to do. It's very fear can no longer be a factor for you. We've talked about this, and now we need to do it. Moving from theoretical into applicable. And personally, for me, the Divine Feminine Rising series is very much of that for me, right? Aggression into progression. That's absolutely beautiful, Corey. That has been what that is for me, right? I had done the Gemini live stream for Gemini season, and at the end of it, I ended up going on this tangent about toxic femininity, which spawned the Divine Feminine Rising series, because I did that live stream with Brooke afterwards from Empress of Duality. If you haven't seen her, absolutely go check her out. She does a lot of beautiful sound healings over there about toxic femininities, twin flame culture, all of that kind of stuff. And from there, that spawned the Sacred Cycles video about pink cycles and moon cycles and sacred bleeding huts and all of that kind of stuff. And I had other plans and projects for the Divine Feminine Rising series kind of in my mind, kind of really working and gestating them. And they threw the fallacy of feminism in my lap. And I knew instantly that while it was a very important discussion to be had about the inconsistencies in the feminist movement, about divine feminine sacred rage, about racism, classism, moral superiority, all of these things that really have held women back. We know the patriarchy exists, right? But there are ways that women have failed women. And I knew in doing that video that it might make me a little unpopular, that there are going to be a lot of people that resonate, that understand what I'm trying to get across and are grateful and appreciative of the information. But I also knew that there was going to be a lot of people that weren't going to like that video because it wasn't what they wanted to hear. And I was nervous to film it because of that reason. And fear could no longer be a factor. It wasn't about popularity at that point. It was about the purpose of what that video was supposed to do and what the next 2 videos are supposed to do as well. It's not a popularity contest. It's the point. You're going to be a rebel. You might ruffle a few feathers. And I did. I'm clairaudient. I hear everything, even shit that I don't want to hear. I know I ruffled a few feathers with that video, and that's okay. Because that was a hill that I was asked to stand on. And so I stood on it and I said it with my whole chest. And I was proud of myself for doing that. A healthy sense of pride. Because the purpose of it was more important than being popular, than people agreeing, or people liking me. That was information that needed to come out. Because that narrative needed to be shifted. And so maybe that isn't what your stick of dynamite is. It might be different, but it might be something that's similar. You speaking out about something, standing up for a cause, putting a purpose behind that passion that you feel. Again, pulling in the energy and then combining it with some kind of action with it. Both of it together. That is how you affect change in your life. That is how you take the theoretical and make it applicable. That is how you move the ball forward. Not just for yourself individually, but how you contribute to your slice of collective energy. These are important things. And what had just flown out is that we have the 8 of Cups and we have the Emperor in reverse that just flew out for that message. Not moving. Not going out there is more dominating, is more of an oppressive energy than actually going out there and facing your fear. Not doing the work is a heavier energy than actually going in and doing it. And I keep pulling in this message, and it's coming a little bit on the monthlies as well. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I think once you step outside of that, realizing that not making a decision is a decision. Not saying anything is saying something, right? That is actually worse than having to face your fear, stand on top of that hill, and speak out. Put a purpose behind that passion. Really have to be self-disciplined enough to channel that anger into something that can be constructive for you and for others, and not just burn you up like a tiki torch. I know it's summer, but we're not trying to get that festive. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. What do you guys say? Let me say. Yeah, I really like that green goddess. Somebody that I used to be, or the collective used to be. Because it's also about, part of 11s, like I said, they're about alignments and they're about portal energies. That we're always talking about getting into alignment. And then we get frustrated when we feel like we're out of alignment. But what we forget is that as we progress and we move on the journey, that your alignment will change. What your alignment was a month ago is not your alignment today. And your alignment at the end of August will be different than what it is right now. So we're constantly having to adjust to higher and higher and higher vibrational alignments. That's kind of the name of the game. We're not supposed to stay stagnant in one alignment. And Adam is always moving. So when we keep ourselves in one place, when we swallow our thoughts and our feelings, when we let our fire burn us up from the inside out, instead of using it to illuminate things that we're actually passionate about, that drive the ball forward like gasoline in the tank, then not only are we going against our nature, we're going against our own personal interests and our progression, but we're going against the natural rhythms of life as well, right? And we're in a fire season. So Leo, we haven't had a fire season since Aries, since April. So this is really a gift, right? And it's about how we want to use it. Part of appreciating gifts and stuff like that, it's about using the energy that is currently available to you and allowing it to mold what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're saying, what it is that you're feeling in this now moment. To quote Corey, this now moment in your universe. I feel like I've been prepping for this, especially this week. I still have the desire for approval, but I've been hyper-focused on noticing how I'm prepared to walk it, no matter how far it goes. Absolutely. I've been a little nervous making that fallacy of feminine video. I was like, some people are not trying to drink this Kool-Aid. But again, obedience is better than sacrifice. Because I would have had to learn that lesson in another way. So they gave me this opportunity, and there's a lot about free will and opportunity in August as well. They gave me an opportunity to channel any frustration, channel my feelings, what I was passionate about, into something that could be really constructive for the collective as part of the dialogue, but also really healing for me to break out of that feeling of wanting to be popular or wanting to be liked or wanting people to be receptive to everything I say, wanting everyone to like me. Right? And I could have not done that, but I was going to receive that lesson one way or another. So it's the idea of I took the smoother, the easier route, right? It's like, you want to do it the hard way or you want to do it the easy way. Both of them are going to be a little uncomfortable, but I chose like the easiest way because that lesson was going to come in one way or another. So I was just obedient to what was being asked of me because I did see a value in it for others and a value for me. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten my ass smacked, like spiritually speaking, of course. I'm really picking up the vibes of the collective having to step out of their comfort zone. And beautiful. And this is what I've been talking about as well, is we always talk about stepping outside of the comfort zone, but a lot of what I think is happening is the expansion of the comfort zone. It's not just, this is my comfort zone, and now I have to step outside of it. Because then you could just do it one time, and then easily just pop back over. This is the picking sides of the fence thing. This is about expanding your comfort zone. So you can walk around. You can play, you can explore, right? It's not, okay, I did it once and now I'm popping back over. No, you're actually expanding it so it becomes an actual part of your territory, if that makes sense. I was just called to the top of Mount Tampa Pies last Saturday to do some energy go dark. Beautiful, and left feeling angry, frustrated, and very upset. I thought I had done something wrong. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Anger is a natural emotion. It's a natural response. And I've been saying this all week that, you know, in the spiritual community, I think that at some point we're all just going to be like these Buddhas walking around like very stoic, very kumbaya all the time. And that's not in the human nature. Some of the frustration that we get in spiritual journey is denying the reality of humanity. That humanity is beautiful and it's colorful and it's exciting and you never know what's going to happen. It's like all whimsical, but it's also dangerous and it's chaotic and it's painful and there's suffering involved. And that is the reality of it. Humanity is finite. Your soul is infinite, but the experience in itself is finite, which makes it more colorful. It makes it more important, right? And so the idea that we're all just going to become these stoic, kind of Care Bear, like Buddhas. Like we're gonna have moments of that, right? But it's chaotic. It's like the elevator business. It's gonna go up and down. You can be as spiritual as the sky is high, and you're still gonna have bad days where you're pissed off. Maybe for no reason, maybe for a good reason. Days when you want to cry, days when you want to laugh, days when you want to hide in your hermit shell, days when you want to hug the whole world, days where you want to kiss the moon. And that's part of the extremities, the polarities of humanity. And that's one of the things that sets us apart from any other thing that exists in creation, on this side of the veil or the other. There's something that makes us unique. Keep contributing regardless of the past contribution perceived to have been perceived, while at the same time maintaining the self-awareness of toxic and nurturing thoughts and absolutely it's getting serious out there, and we've been prepping to help, and the help that humanity needs will likely be hard for them to hear because it honestly often triggers trigger work, shadow work. A few of the monthly readings that I've gotten through, they've been like a little bit of like tough love readings. Scorpio and Sagittarius had very much of like a tough love reading this month. But again, they needed it. Not doing the work is out of alignment. And the pressure cooker would just get hotter until you take the lid off. Yeah, absolutely. I feel revved up and ready to go now. I know. Me too. So the next download that I had gotten was it? Yeah, no. Okay, so it changed from 21 Pilots. It went to Panic at the Disco. And for me, whenever I pull in Panic now, I'm pulling in Pan, like the Greek and Roman god. But I got that song 9 in the afternoon. 9 in the afternoon, your eyes are the size of the moon. And at the very beginning of the song, he goes, back to the streets where we began. And so this is something that's really interesting that's coming in, is that part of these new assignments that a lot of you are getting are actually going back to old assignments that previously you had put a pause on or you never thought could apply to your spiritual work, your spiritual journey, and now they are. Because you think of that term, 9 in the afternoon. Well, that doesn't make sense. I see an orange butterfly. That talks about the transmutation of your anger and frustration. Beautiful confirmation. Thank you. 9 in the afternoon doesn't make sense. There's a 9 in the morning. There's a 9 at night. But a 9 in the afternoon? That doesn't make sense. And so this may be the feeling that you have when some of these new assignments, some of these hills, these projects, these purposes that come in for you. You might be confused. They might not make sense. You're like, wait, why would I do that? I left doing that in order to do like all of this spiritual work. Now you want me to go back into it? What does that mean? It means they want you to combine it. Again, very similar to the Divine Feminine series that I'm doing, is a lot of the things that I'm talking about is stuff that I studied in college. I left college with like a year left under my belt. I didn't finish. I had like a year left. And I worked as a bartender, I worked as a barista, I did like a bunch of stuff, and now I'm doing my spiritual work. And I never thought in a million years that somehow the work that I did in college and the work that I'm doing now could ever coincide. But somehow it does. And so I'm realizing that I'm talking about all of this spiritual, political, activist sort of things. And that was a 9 in the afternoon moment for me. I was like, well, that doesn't really make sense. You're having me go back and doing the stuff that I was doing in college. Do you want me to go back to college? Because like that wasn't really like in my plan. They're like, no, that's not what we're asking you to do. We're asking you to combine the two right now. Again, the spiritual and the practical, the super and the natural, the magic and the mundane. Because there is a purpose in why you were doing some of the stuff you were doing before, but it's the way you were doing it, the environment that you were doing it in, the lack of spiritual attunement, and there is something about it that you are able to interject into whatever it is that you're doing now that is going to be very self-affirming for you. It's going to make you very confident. Again, when I talk about stuff like feminism, I feel really confident because I realized, wow, I spent years learning about that. I put time, hours, energy, debates. I took pre-law class. Like, wait, I'm really good at this, and I'm really good at the job I do now, and I can actually combine these, and I feel a little bit like a badass. So yeah, you know what? If people don't like it, or, you know, I'm going to stand on this hill, and I'm going to be proud to stand on this hill because I feel good about the fact that I know these things and I can apply them from a long time ago. This is a lot of the stick of dynamite for you too. After that dynamite kind of blows up for you, haha, look at this. Hostilities, conflict, and unrest. 31. That breaks down to a 4. That talks about foundation. Right on top of this panther, this black jaguar, which for me always comes through as the shadow. This is being able to harness the shadow. It's not running around her. It's not causing havoc. It's being able to channel it, right? Having the shadow, having Saturn work for you. And right in front of this big moon, again, these are things that you didn't see coming, things and projects that you used to do in the past that you didn't think in any way were going to apply to what it is that you're working on now. But somehow they do. There's a commonality. Everything is connected. Why you did that then and why you do this now and how they do actually coincide together. And it might not have been stuff that you saw coming, and it might not be things that people expect you to do. But this is going to be a way for you to channel any hostility, channel conflict, unrest, aggression, right? And really make it something that can be incredibly constructive for you and for the people around you. Building a new foundation. And this is also a new way to do shadow work, which is what I'm realizing in this now moment. A lot of the stuff that's coming in, it's oftentimes we do shadow work and I gotta pull out my journal, I gotta think about my childhood trauma, I gotta sit here, I gotta cry, right? It's all of this very emotional, spiritual, internal process. Now they're giving us something to do about it. This is physical shadow work through actual projects, actual conversations, actual things to be working on. It's the masculine physical aspect of shadow work, not just the spiritual, emotional, intuitive, feminine version of shadow work. This is a different way to do it. This is what they're telling me now. That's amazing. That's really amazing, right? And it may, in a way, make you feel a little bit like you're going backwards. Right? What do you mean you want me to talk about the stuff I learned about in college or the stuff from my old job? That doesn't really make sense. Yeah, actually it does. Actually, it does if you look at it from a new perspective, right? I feel like a little bit of a badass. I'm going to have to steal that one. Steal it, girl. 7 of Pentacles. Look at this. Beautiful. This is planting seeds in a new way. This is a combination of that feminine, intuitive, the energetics with the physical manifestations, right? Harnessing things. And again, you see all these pentacles, you see the root system. Again, it's hidden. You can't see it. You don't even realize what you're doing right now. It doesn't make any sense to you. Why am I being asked to do this? Why is my assignment changing? Why am I pulling in these things from the old that I don't really understand? You don't see it yet because you don't know what it's going to grow into, but God does. And 31 breaks down to a 4, and this is a 7. What is 7 and 4? It's 11. This is a new way to do spiritual attunement. This is a new level of refinement. This is a new level of alignment. Physical shadow work. Channeling the pain, the trauma, the anger as a way to step up to the plate for yourself. Apply what you've been learning for so long. To practice what you've been preaching to others for so long. And actually have physical manifestation of blessings, of promises come in through the physical manifestation of you doing your energetic work in the natural, in ways that seem very mundane. They don't seem particularly magical, but they are. I feel all revved up and ready to go now. Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom. So the next song that had come on the Shufflemancy for Leo season was Ride by 21 Pilots, right? So I'm taking my time on my ride. And this is bringing up, what does it say? I can't read my notes, I don't have my glasses. Okay, so this brings in a lot of the idea of loyalty. Are you more loyal to the people or to the project? Because this has to do with a lot of anger, frustration that a lot of you guys may be feeling. Are you able to work with people that you don't necessarily like? And vice versa. Right? Because there's a difference between like and love, which is something that they've been channeling through to me, right? And a lot of it is this agape, Christ consciousness, this unconditional love for humanity and for a shared human experience of both pain and pleasure. But it doesn't mean you're going to like everyone. And this goes back into the popularity thing. Are you able to hold space and love and respect for everyone, while also just recognizing that some people you just don't like, and some people aren't going to like you either? Because again, this goes into the channeling the anger into purpose. The same thing goes with collaborations and group projects. Because Leo talks a lot about loyalty, right? And sometimes we are confronted with what we feel is disloyalty from other people. And as a question to ask yourself, part of this physical shadow work is, are people really being disloyal to you, or have you projected a certain kind of expectation onto them? Have you projected a role that they are meant to play in your life without them knowing about it or consenting to it? Did they sign on to that contract, or did you just assume that role for them? So is it about the project? It is about the purpose? Is it about moving the ball down the line? Or is it more important that you get along with every single player on the field? Because so often in the spiritual journey, we talk about kicking out toxic people, getting rid of people that aren't in alignment with you, people that aren't in your highest and best good. And then we become so overly isolated in our process that eventually when people do come back in to our kind of interior world, we cling on to them, right? Like little spider monkeys. And then we get upset when they're not acting in accordance with the way we want them to be acting or they're not fulfilling roles that we've assigned to them that, again, they don't know about and they didn't consent to. And so then we want to go back into our hermit shells, and the divine is, again, very similar to the collective lots, going, no, pour out, pour out. Pour out. It's about the project. It's about the project. Not everyone's going to like you. You're not going to like everyone all the time. It doesn't matter how spiritual you are. It doesn't matter how woke you think you are. It doesn't matter how much shadow work you think you've done. Even the most spiritual people that I know, myself, we can all be assholes sometimes. Sometimes I am in a bad mood. Sometimes I am the problem in the room, and I have to check myself for that. And it's the same thing with you guys. It's the same thing collectively, that we're all human, so we're all prone to making mistakes, or to letting people down, or to letting ourselves down, or to having a bad day and spewing all over everyone in the room, right? It's like, and needing to be more mindful of what's the work you came here to do. Can you still have love for someone and also not like them all the time? Think about a marriage. You think people like each other in a marriage for 50 years? No, they love each other, but I don't always like you, right? You fall in and out of like. Love is unconditional, but you can come in and out of like. And it's more about the work that needs to get done, because they're part of this relationship energy in August. It's not just romantic. It's also professional. It's spiritual. It's familial. It's social, right? I don't like everything that my friends do, but I love them regardless. I don't have to involve myself in everything that they do. And vice versa. They're not coming over to make moon water with me lately, right? That doesn't even make sense to them. But there's still love there, because there's a purpose to fulfill, especially in these collaborations, creative, career-wise, spiritual, whatever it is. Do you think when there's a big group of people going out to do grid work that every single one of them likes each other? No. But they respect each other. They hold space, love, appreciation for each other. It doesn't mean they like each other, but they got a job to do. If you were at any other job in the world, right, you're gonna have to get along. You're gonna have to be civil. You're gonna have to work with people that maybe you wouldn't go have a beer with after work. And you're going to have to do it. It's no different in the spiritual community. We get to fine tune it. We get to curtail our spiritual community a little bit. But there are going to be people that come in and out that you're not always going to vibe with. And it doesn't mean that they're out of alignment. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with you. But it's just the reality of the fact. And we need to be a little less pretentious about that, right? Let me see what you guys are saying. Because I feel you. I feel you going off about this. Yes, allow the archetype to be what they are without projection. I'm guilty of it too. I call myself out. As I've said from the second I started this channel, I'm never preaching on a hill. I'm in the sticks with you guys. And these are things that I've had to go through and I've had to learn. Like, a lot of you guys don't like talking about it. That I've had to go through and I've had to learn and process in the last few weeks myself. They agreed to be with them whether it fits or it doesn't. It's about what it teaches us. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this entire year has been a lesson in allowing each person's sovereignty. Absolutely, because when you project what someone is supposed to be, what they're supposed to do, what role they're supposed to play, you're denying them the ability to decide that for themselves. That's you trying to play God. And I don't want that responsibility. Again, I ain't putting the stars up in the sky every night like it's Motel 6. I don't want that. I have enough on my plate trying to keep my own shit together. Absolutely. Stop taking everything so personally. That's been a message that's coming as well. Also, stop complaining. This came through in a few of the monthly readings, and this is just a side note. Stop complaining so much. And that is a message that I channeled for myself like a month ago. They're like, stop complaining so much. And I was like, excuse me? I don't complain that much. And they were like, yeah, you do. You complain more about the stuff that's not going right for you than saying thank you for the stuff that is going right for you. Why don't you praise God in advance? And I was like, oh, I'm a little offended, but I'm also a little bit in agreement. And so I took the same energy and I just converted it to something different. I took my anger and I put it into something that was more constructive. I took my complaints and I just shifted that energy of vocalization into praise. And I saw a lot of things change. I saw a lot of things moved, and I saw a big uptick in my own vibration, in my own attitude, right? And I became a little bit more like Teflon. I wasn't taking things so personally. I was able to detach when I needed to and then reintegrate when I needed to, and allow that process and allow other people to have room for their own processes as well. And this is a big maturity level. This is stepping up to the plate, practicing what we preach, applying what we've learned. This is the difference between sitting on the fence and choosing a side of it. Neither side is better or worse, but it will dictate what options, what opportunities are going to come to you in Leo season. And this is the sun. This is healing. This is solar power. So you choose. It's free will. But again, obedience is better than sacrifice. They're going to give you easier options, smoother options, the most ideal options. You don't have to pick them, but you're going to learn these lessons one way or another. You're talking about when I'm working on it's hard. Yeah. Absolutely, Amanda. I agree with you. Does my utterance ultimately respect another's sovereignty? It throws my fear versus intuition into a wrestling match. I think there's a difference between, you can voice your concerns, you can express your feelings, while also, like I had a conversation with someone the other day and I was like, you know, I'm a little bit in my feels, but I also recognize, and this is why, but I also recognize that my feelings are my problem and I'm responsible for processing them. And for me, that was a balanced and healthy way to express myself, right? This is my utterance, but this is also my logical, reasonable perspective, and this is me taking ownership of what I have to do, right? So it was an opportunity for me that was gifted to express myself, to open up a dialogue, but to also take accountability for myself, which allowed me to be more empowered. Yes? Energy is fluid, so are your likes, absolutely. Yep. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I have to be complaining, yes. I got to sit down with Spirit just the other day. Yeah, listen, I have a Sagittarius moon. Oh, that's a squirrel. I have a Sagittarius moon. I got a lot of fire in my chart. Like, I've been on this journey a long time. Like, I can very easily fall into complaining. And so they really had to sit me down. And when they told me to stop complaining, I was highly offended. And I was like, I'm complaining. What are you? Because I get like that. I'm Pisces. I'm sensitive, you know? But when I thought about it, I realized that. And that's when they shift the narrative. And they're like, why don't you praise God in advance? Why not, instead of you getting so frustrated and complaining, why don't you pray with a little bit more audacity? Take the same energy and apply it in a way that's going to work for you. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I did that. And they're like, good. Now go tell the people to do the same thing. And I was like, okay, I shall, right? Sag Moon Sisters. I just did Sagittarius. I did Sagittarius morning. Sagittarius got a little bit of a tough love reading today as well. Four of Wands. Look at this. June 9/11. This is exactly what I'm talking about working with people. You think everyone at Coachella likes each other? No, but there's also something about giving people space. She's dancing in her way. She's dancing in her way. There's a lot of space out there. You know what I mean? Like, they could easily move farther away from each other. They could go inside the tent, but because they're giving each other enough space, they're enjoying each other's company more. They're able to engage in the same activity in their own sovereignty, and that allows them to build not only a healthier foundation with each other, but a healthier foundation within themselves, a two and a two. One's balance and another balance, maintaining and holding space for the collective equilibrium as well as the alignment within oneself. And not only is this a Wands card, But this little TP, this tent over here, is also in the shape of a triangle, which is also the alchemical symbol for fire. Again, taking that same energy and moving it in a way that's going to work for you. This is part of the maturing. This is part of the transmutation. This is part of the stepping up to the plate for yourself. The fire in the hole is the dynamite. It's the option. It's the opportunity. It's the physical shadow work, moving away from the kind of feminine, more intuitive shadow work. And you can come into agreement with it and do what it is that you're being asked to do, which is what we're all being asked to do right now. Or you can, which is you picking a side of the fence, or you can stay on the other side of the fence, which is fine. You're going to learn the same lesson. Again, escalator versus airport sidewalk. You're going to get to the same place, but it's how much longer do you want it to take? How less comfortable do you want it to be? This is the free will choice. As you were talking, eagle flying above circles, my house above my head. Eagles, they talk about justice. Yes, I thought about the other day. Come with whatever I have to say with an attitude of compassion. Not always possible, but it's a good aim. Absolutely. Again, if you looked at my birth chart, you know I get an attitude sometimes. But I really work on it. I work on it. I'm not perfect. Not every day I'm going to hit the mark. But I do the best I can. I do the best I can. And this was a word that they had given me as well. It's called gestalt. It was one of the words of the day the other day. And it's organized. It's an organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. That really stuck to me. An organized whole that is perceived as more than the sum of its parts. That you get to be your own part. You get to be your own unique individual expression. Stand on your hill, right? But when you have the ability to at least hold that space of love and appreciation for others, you're able to hold that space of letting other people sit into their sovereignty and not judge them for it, as you would not want to be judged for it either. Then what you guys create together, the community, the collective union, is so much bigger. It's so much more powerful because of the vibration in which you are building it. Wow, that's interesting. 2 of Cups in reverse with the 4 of Wands. This is the not personalizing. Your personal stuff is your personal stuff, but your collective stuff has to be collective stuff. It's almost like that don't shit where you eat kind of energy, right? It's like when you go to work and you've been through a lot of stuff at home and they basically tell you like, hey, like we have a lot of sympathy and empathy for you, but like if you can't show up and still do your job, then like you gotta go home. It's that kind of thing. Like I remember working at the bar and the bar is a chaotic place to work, and there would be days that like I would come in and I would be really upset about my boyfriend or my friends or or something going on. They're like, listen, we love you, but like you're at work, so it's like you got to do your work. If you can't handle it, if you need time, then cool, we'll send you home and we'll get someone else to come in. Like it's very much of that kind of energy. It's like when you're going in to do the collective work, leave your shit at the door, and then when you want to go home, you kind of deal with your stuff as well. This is more about accountability, ways in which you may be projecting onto other people, which may be setting the kind of collective agenda back. Again, this is the perspective that you need to have stepping up to the plate. Okay, you know what? I'm having a hard time dealing with this, so I'm going to take a minute to myself and I'm going to process this. And then the divine is going to bring me in something physical for me to do, a project, something to work on, a physical conversation, an ability to come from a moderate place with my expression, right? And then once I do that, I will be able to reintegrate into the project, into the group, into society in a much more balanced way after I learn this lesson, the easiest way possible. Yes? It's still going to be a stretch, but I'm listening while tuning out of confrontation around me, setting so good. Yeah, not every battle is yours to fight either. Trust me, spiritual warfare is my specialty. I never miss a good fight. But even me, I have to look around sometimes and go, that's not my fight. I'm not getting involved in that. That's something that they got to deal with over there, right? So that way I can maintain my own vibration. So, speaking of maintaining vibrations, the last download that I had pulled in, actually I'm going to get an oracle card for this. The last download that I had pulled in was this song by Anderson .Paak and the Nationals. They did a Tiny Desk. And he has this song called Come Down. And there's a line in it that goes, I want to come down now. It's like when you're up too high or like the heat's a little thick. And the idea is that you're not coming down in August. Part of stepping up to the plate, choosing a side of the fence, is that you don't get to come back down now. We are being asked to be more accountable and responsible for upholding our own vibrations, because I've noticed it with the collective and I've noticed it within myself as well. It's these peaks and these valleys and not having enough of that sturdy equilibrium in between, really high highs and really low lows, completely full of faith, full of hope, full of enthusiasm, or completely bear down, I can't do it, it's too hard, it's hopeless, it's taken too long. There needs to be a middle ground. Like, we are responsible for maintaining our own emotional composure and our own equilibrium more consistently than we have been doing it. And it's like the sun, right? The sun is a consistent source of heat, of warmth, of light. And it doesn't matter if it's a clear day or if it's a cloudy day or if it's a rainy, stormy day. The sun is still out. Even if you can't see it, the sun is still out. It maintains its own vibration regardless of the weather, regardless of the circumstances around it. You're not always going to be able to see what you want. You're not always going to be able to feel like you're in the right place. You're going to have bad days. It's going to get cloudy. It might even rain. You might even see some thunder. But the sun still maintains its position. This is not allowing your emotions to play you out of your position. We learned this lesson in Cancer season. Emotions are fickle. Acknowledge your emotions. Honor your emotions. Process them when they need to be processed. But sometimes they just need to be observed and then allowed to pass. Because you can feel one way in the morning and you can feel another way at night. Full moon comes in at 10:30 tonight. You might feel different at 11 o'clock this evening than you did at 11 o'clock this morning. Feelings come in and out. Don't allow them to play you out of your position. This is, again, taking Saturn energy, Chronos, self-discipline, and using it to work for you as opposed to not crush you. And this is coming from someone that's in her Saturn return. I understand it. I know this energy very well. You're not always going to feel like the sun is shining out of your ass, all rainbows and kittens. But it's about not abandoning the ideal, not abandoning the positive expectation, not abandoning the dream because of that. This comes into rationalism. This comes into the 21 pilots, being mindful of your thoughts that are coming in and out, going, it's not hopeless, it's just a bad day. When I was in high school, I developed this tactic when I would have anxiety or something would happen to me or I'd get upset in the middle of the day, and I'd go in the bathroom and I'd look in the mirror and I'd go, it's not a bad day, it's just a bad moment. It's not a bad day. It's just a bad moment. It's not a bad day, and it's not a bad life. It's just a moment. And it'll pass, just like everything else. Just like a cloud in the sky. And you will be able to see the sun again, right? This is going back to your own individual testimony. Remembering times when you felt like it was hopeless. Remembering times when you were on your ass. And remembering the times that you persevered and God brought you through. These times are no different. It's about, again, remembering the lessons that we learned, reminding yourself of your individual testimony, being more disciplined, applying, practicing what we preach, because if we're going to basically allowing yourself to be super excited and enthusiastic and then feel like everything's completely in the shitter and nothing's going to work out with you, that's you hopping from one side of the fence to the other. And you have to decide. It's either going to work out or it isn't. So I'm going to go, it is going to work out. It might be a little bumpy along the way, but it's going to work out. Being able to maintain your own emotional consistency a little bit more. Sacred breath and sound. Self-soothing techniques. When you feel that coming in, I'm okay. It's fine. It's just a moment, right? Life force and communication. And look at this dolphin. This talks a lot about the third eye. This talks a lot about telepathy. Again, the thoughts, being mindful of your thoughts and how they affect your emotional body. Communicating to yourself. I'm experiencing, and I love Brooke from Empress of Duality. She said this, and I got this from her. She goes, I'm not angry. I'm experiencing anger. I'm experiencing anxiety. I am not anxious. I'm not claiming that as my portion. I'm experiencing an emotion. It's a moment, and it will pass. It will pass, right? It's card number 10. So being able to do this, again, taking something that's very intuitive and energetic and doing something physical, something that's applicable. It creates that union energy within, and it allows you to wrap up this cycle. And therefore, one, have a new beginning. Get on one side of the fence. Get on the same page with yourself, right? Does that make sense? And I hope I'm making sense to you guys. And I'm not just like waffling. I'm a very impassioned person. So sometimes I can waffle. Look at that though. 10 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles on the split. The ending of a cycle with peace. There's no swords. It's just a sunset. And then the 3 of Pentacles. Beginning to work on, and the 3 of Pentacles talks a lot about mastery. Mastering other aspects of yourself that previously got put on the back burner when you were working on other things. It also talks about conscious co-creation for me with the divine, with 3 being a very divine number. The Holy Trinity, body, mind, and soul. The tapestry of your life that you're weaving together. Does that make sense? It's a nice little confirmation for us. I just learned that saying these things out loud to myself is much more effective, especially because I'm a projector. Yep, absolutely. Whenever anyone sends me like a and looking at your human design, I say it all the time, but it really will help you work smarter, not harder, with your kind of energetic signature. But anytime I see someone like leave me like a really, really, really like long comment, I always remember, I'm like, I bet they're a projector. And then like a little while later, they'll go, I looked at your video, I'm a projector in human design. I'm like, I know. Projectors, you got to get it out. You got to talk it out. Which is why a lot of times I'll do that work in the mirror. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm just like anyone else. I got anxiety. I had a panic attack 3 weeks ago. I was like, whoo. And I have to sit there and go, Lauren, you're fine. Self-soothing, reparenting, inner child work, shadow work, doing something physical, right? There's a lot of power in the tongue. And so oftentimes we think things when we need to say them out loud to ourselves. Pray out loud. You feel encroached upon, you feel pressure. You say Psalms 27 out loud. Watch that shit change for you. Psalms 31 out loud. Good luck. See what tries to come through your door. Ain't nothing. Feeding your tiny human. Oh God, I hope I'm not disturbing the baby, Ariel, with my loud. So loud. I said that to someone earlier. I'm like, I'm sorry I'm so loud. I'm from New Jersey. I can't help it. When you're born in New Jersey, they give you a pair of Ugg boots, a baby rattle, and a foghorn. And that's just like the Jersey starter kit. I was doing it last night in the window because I can see myself, but not as critical as when I look in the mirror. Yeah, that's fine. A lot of times I don't look at myself more. I just sit in my bed and I like rub my hands against my thighs. Very self-soothing, right? And I'm like, you're fine. It's all gonna be fine. Ace of Swords, look. New ways to climb out of the dungeon. New ways to shine light on our thoughts, on the way our thoughts can spiral into despair, or the ways they can lead us out of the shadows and into a higher place, into a more confident place. This is hard work that she's doing here. There's a lot of calculations, but you know what? Her head is held high because she's investing in herself to choose a side of the fence and do it. I wear an earbud so they can live their best lives. Oh, you're just a good mama. I can't wait. If you haven't checked out Soul Mana, especially if you have kids, you go check out her channel. I can't wait to see all the stuff that you put in. You're doing such good work. Make sure, he stopped by earlier, Patrick from Rio Kuruk. Corey was in here before, Founders of Light. If you haven't go checked out Corey, definitely go check out Founders of Light. I haven't seen Rob in here, but definitely go check out Rob's Tarot. The Pink Peony Oracle. Go check out the Pink Peony Oracle. Dana, Everlong Mystic. There's really gorgeous, beautiful, talented, gifted people like in this community, like as a whole, but particularly like within the collective that like I kind of work in. Go check that. They're amazing. They're absolutely amazing, especially if you really enjoy live streams and stuff too. Patrick especially does a lot of live streams. Corey does a lot of live streams. Me, we don't always do like a lot of live streams. I'll do them for the seasons. I'll do the full moon ones with Rob and Reem and Russell. They'll do it for the runes. Like we kind of just sprinkle in a little live streams, but Corey and Patrick, they do a lot of live streams. Knight of Wands. I love it. I love it. Look. Ooh. Ooh. Head held high. Look. And then the Knight of Wands. Beating, look, that's that horse, Dana. Beating to the sound of your own drum. Being excited. Again, going from the applicable and then going back into the physical with new energy, new life force, feeling more comfortable and at home because you expanded that comfort zone and you did it in a way that was balanced. Not just internal, not just energetic, but there's a physical aspect as well that allowed you to understand the dualities of the human experience, that sometimes it's really shitty and sometimes it's painful and sometimes it sucks, but sometimes it can be really beautiful too, right? And see how his hand is on the sun, remembering that you are responsible for the consistency of your own energy. And sometimes it'll be higher and sometimes it'll be lower, but it can't allow you to completely give up on yourself, to give up on the dream, to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Your life, your dreams, your goals, they are not petals on a daisy. You can't love them and then love them not. Sometimes you can like them more than others. But you gotta hold on to that stem, because then we have the Hierophant, an orderly God, making these steps. Remember what I said before? Passive, active, feminine, masculine, just like a ladder. And there's God. All the way up to that portal energy, right? Card number 5. Leo rules the 5th house of pleasure. And it is God's good pleasure to bless you, to bring good things into your life, to do what he said he's going to do for you. But this is requiring more from you. And the price of insecurity, as Water Baby Tarot said, is that you don't get where you want to be in the time that it is intended for you to get there. So, as I said, fire in the hole. There are opportunities coming for you in August to step up, to level up. And you can do it because you've been waiting for this. Physical manifestations are coming in. Blessings, abundance, community, collaboration opportunities, love for a lot of you. It's like it's all coming together. And it's taken such a long time. So now is the time to show the divine, to show yourself that you can handle it. They say in the Bible, you can have as much as you can carry. So show them, show yourself that you can carry more, that you're capable of more, that you can practice what you preach. And see what happens when these things come in. You won't feel intimidated. You won't feel afraid. You won't feel subconscious. You won't feel the need to self-sabotage. You'll be ready. You'll go, yes, I've been waiting for this. Let's do it. So that is pretty much what I have for y'all today. We'll hang out for a few more minutes. I wish my packages were here because I would open them with you, but I don't believe that any of them are here yet. I will check my email, but I don't think they're here yet. And that makes me a little sad. No, they're not here. Look at that. Beautiful. Another 10. 37 breaks down to a 10. Divine Mother. Nurturing, compassion, and grace. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Opening the heart. Deep connections and water blessings. Look, it's an 11. The blessings of a very tumultuous Cancer season is a very abundant Leo season. If we can rise to the challenge. Something, right? That's something. So, hang out for a few minutes, and then we will skedaddle, allow you guys to enjoy the rest of your Friday. Oh, thank you so much. I got these off my wish list. Somebody got, this was the first thing. It's the first deck that was gifted to me off my wish list when I first set it up. I love it so much. I'm so grateful. If you look in my community tab, I have, like, whenever anyone sends me anything, I always, like, post, like, a thank you and the whole thing. So everyone can see kind of, like, what I get and what I have, and then I'm appreciative, and, you know how it goes. I have so many decks now. I love it. I have so many. I have, like, 29 decks or something now. And I still see decks all the time that I'm like, I like that. Ooh, I want that. Ooh, I'm going to buy that. I might put that on my wish list. Like, decks are like Pokemon cards. I gotta catch them all. I gotta catch them all. Yeah, girl, get you a wish list. Oh, you're having trouble? My channel is the same Solana account. Just get it started. I think you can click my icon in here. I don't think so. I think in a live stream chat, you have to type it into the search bar, because I'm pretty sure if you click someone's name in a live stream, it'll just ask if you like want to report them. Which is unfortunate, because I've tried to do that a bunch of times and like almost accidentally reported people when I was just trying to get to their channel. I don't know. It's just like dual streaming is not yet a feature on YouTube. Like, you have to go onto Zoom and then from Zoom stream it onto YouTube, which is fine. It's not that difficult once you figure it out. It's difficult before you figure it out, but there's a lag in it as well. Me and Rob, every time we do like the full moon ones, we're always like, listen, they got to get a dual streaming feature on YouTube. Hi, Grace. Hi, babyface. Only mods can put links. Is that true? Maybe that is true. You might be right about that. It might send it to like spam. I'll put it in. Give me one hot second. Aha, I got you. Oh yeah, I thought you could put links. There we go. Now we got her. Now we're cooking with gas, Ariel. There we go. I got you, girl. I got you. I'm saying my packages aren't here yet. I mean, they're coming, so I'm grateful that they're coming. But I got a whole bunch of new candles for Candle Magic for Color Theory, and I got new crystals. I like to use, for my workings, I like to use crystal chips. Like, for my regular stuff, I have, like, regular crystals. These are my sleeping crystals that I used last night. Still Bite. I always sleep with Still Bite. Typically a lapis lazuli, and then I threw an aquamarine. I'm a Pisces, so my birthstone is aquamarine. And there also is just a random download that I've been getting that I forgot to mention is something about working your birthstones back into like your crystal rotation or sleeping with them or using them. Aquamarine is mine, and it's very soothing. It's very calming, which is helping me during like a fire season because I have a lot of fire in my energy, so I can get very, so the aquamarine kind of helps me like channel it out a little bit. Sheila, I don't think I said hi to you, Sheila, but I saw you, Sheila, and I appreciate you being here. Hi, Aqua. You know it's Grace. There's something in the pot. You guys are funny. Teaching class at 3, I have to go. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here. I'm good, Aqua. I just finished up this live stream. We've been on here for a little while now. 6, 7, 8, 9. It's almost an hour and 40 minutes. We've been on here a long time. Longer than I thought, I think. Yeah. Do more lives. I should do more lives. You're right. I should. I've been very busy, though, this month, honestly. I noticed that with the weekly readings that I didn't put out as many weekly readings this month as normally I would, but I've been very busy because I have the worker beats here, so I've been working on the Claire series, getting Candle Magic set up, the weekly Zodiac readings for here. I do the extended readings on the Patreon. I worked the collective lots back in. I've been doing personal readings. I've been doing the Divine Feminine Rising series, so I did the Sacred Cycles. I've been working on the Fallacy of Feminism video. I've really just been, like, doing the most. I got, what is it? How many did I do? 9? I got 9 out of the 12 monthly readings done the last 2 days. Normally I wouldn't do the monthly readings until, like, the 28th, 29th, 30th of the month, but they're almost done. They'll be finished tomorrow. So I've just been, like, real busy. Like, again, they've been keeping me on my toes. They've been giving me extra projects, extra things to do. which is great. And I'm really happy and I'm really grateful for it. But I didn't get to do as many lives this month. I didn't get to do as many weeklies as I would have liked to. But because the monthlies are done so early this go around, I think that will free up a lot of my time. And a lot of what's going on for me, which came up in the Pisces monthly, is developing a different routine and a different schedule for myself as well. So that way I can be more productive while I'm working. Oh, I see why you did that as well. Yeah. Speaking of sacred cycles, I see what they're doing. They're trying to give me a few days off next week. I see that. I understand what they're doing. I appreciate it. I was like, why do you have me doing so much stuff this week? Because they want to try and give me a few days off next week so I can do my sacred cycle thing. See, they're good. See, they take care of you. Thank you, Sherry. You're very sweet. Do I remember the video I did with the wishing tree? Oh, I could never forget it. That was an incredibly transformative day for me. That is the day that I remember my testimonies. Like I was talking about remembering your testimonies. I remember that sometimes. They do. They take really good care of us. Why do you want me to do so much? You're like, so you can eat pizza next week and cry in peace. Gardening today, full moon ritual tonight. Okay. Did it? Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say. Thank you or you're welcome. That was a really crazy day for me. That was a day that I was angry, right? Very similar to the message we were talking about today, that I was really angry and I very much wanted to stew in it. And they forced me, they gave me an opportunity. I could have very easily just decided not to go to Whole Foods and get hot sauce that day. I could have easily decided not to go get a hot chocolate and wait in that parking lot for my hot chocolate to be done at Starbucks. I could have just gone, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just going home. But I listened to that, again, the feminine receptive impulse, that download, and then I matched it with the physical action. And I had one of the most spiritual experiences, one of the most enlightening experiences of my life. You know what I mean? And it was very healing. And when, side note, it's just interesting. When I quit my job, and a lot of you guys know, when I quit my regular job back in the end of October, November, and decided to do this full time. This is a really big leap of faith for me. And I had to move back home with my family, which was not something that was the most, I wasn't at the top of my ideal things to do list. And when I had been moving here and I had turned on this block, I noticed that there was a tree on the corner and it was another wishing tree. And that was a cue to me from God, like, I know it's not ideal for you. I know it's uncomfortable, but this is the right place for you to be. This is the right thing. You're on the right path. Don't worry. And so, if I go back and I watch that video, I will still cry. I will watch that little bumblebee, fall into my hand, and I will just, burst out in tears. It's a very visceral day for me. And that was a day that I learned forgiveness at a new level that I hadn't experienced before. So thank you. That's very kind. Put out in relevance. That's what I was going through. Wishing Tree reminds me of the kids show True in Rainbow Kingdom. She selects a wishful superpower from the tree to solve a problem after meditating. Yeah. Really would have triggered in me. That was very similar. It was very close in time, that video, and when I was working on rebuilding my relationship with Jesus as well, because I was a Catholic school kid. I went to public school for high school, but I was a Catholic school kid, and I had such bad church hurt from that I was like, I don't want anything to do with Jesus. No offense. I'm never going to be as good as Jesus. Jesus makes me feel bad. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's when they had me really start bridging that gap. That's when Archangel Gabriel and Michael had come through for me. That's when I bought my first Bible. And I was working. It wasn't just I accept Jesus. It was no, me and Jesus, you and me, we're going to get to know each other. We're going to spend a little time. We're going to have some conversations. We got to work some shit out, you and me. And that's when I really started building the bridge back there. And very shortly after is when I had that exchange with that person that was really offensive to me. And I was very hurt and I was very angry. And that wishing tree video was one of the solidifying moments for me when I was I see you, Jesus. I see ways in which you're leading me to healing, leading me to see you show up for me in a way, right? And that was a cloudy day. That was a cloudy and a rainy day, but on that day, I saw the sun. I saw light. I saw healing. I saw him. I saw it. And I was able to see me and how I could express myself, work through my emotions, my frustration in a totally different way. It's beautiful that you brought that up, Aqua. Thank you so much for that, because it ties in beautifully to the message that we went through today. Of course you're forgivable. We're all forgivable. Which allows me to have greater forgiveness and empathy for other people. When I remember all of the times that I can really get out of pocket and God has continued to be gracious with me, it allows me to see other people when they get out of pocket and extend that back to them. Jesus is my best friend, just coming out of the darkness. So yeah, absolutely. I believe that Jesus is the best thing in the universe. I surely do. I think everything else is a tool. Pendulums, tarot cards, candles, crystals. I love it all. You know, I love my things. I love like my tools, but I love my goddesses. I love my angels. I love everything. But for me, Jesus is the best thing in the universe. If everything was taken away and all I had left was Jesus, I would be good with that. Like, I would be okay with that. But I also like that they let me have my tools. Like, I can do my thing, you know what I mean? When I was on a session with a client earlier, we were talking about Jesus, and I was saying how Jesus is not political. Jesus is like a crunchy granola hippie. Like, he really is not political in the way that, like, people like to make him out to be. Perfect timing when you put it out. Just had a hard time with myself. I literally thought I was being hacky. Such perfect timing. And that's what God does. He works through us to connect with each other and give messages and confirmations. He's done it for me a million times with different people. I'm like, how did they know to put that message out exactly today? Like, that's exactly what I needed. Because God is everything in my universe. I hope you understand you need nothing except yourself and him. And there have been a lot of situations that I'm like, I need this, I need that. Like, you just need to have faith. Like, God is my father. Jesus is the best thing in the universe. Like, God is my provider. Like, if there's ever anything that I didn't have, it's because I didn't need it that day. If I needed something, it was there for me. It was provided for me. And that's, again, something that in times when I feel low, I have to remind myself of my own testimony, you know? And I got a lot of it at this point. I have such a hard time with forgiveness, especially with humans. But I've come to understand spirit and the way things work out, which have allowed me to forgive source for the turbulent ride. Oh, yeah. And I talked about that in a reading once. Sometimes when we're talking about, well, I forgive that person. It's like, yeah, but did you forgive the divine? Like, for all the times, like, you felt like they were, you know what I mean? Like, it was way too long. This journey's too hard. Because we can build up resentment and hardness in our heart for God, too. Why are you doing this? Why is this happening to me? I don't understand. It happens. It happens. It's happened to me plenty of times. His ways are not always. I'm telling you your stuff again. Hey, it's my stuff too, girl. It's our stuff. I was questioning God at the time. I couldn't have been more perfect the way it is. Yep. God's a little bit like Ashanti. It's not always there when you call, but he's always on time. You know? Where are you? What are you doing? I don't understand. Radio silence. But when the time comes, he shows up. Gotta charge rent. Please, God, don't. It's taken several decades, but I finally understood that forgiving actually benefits me more than those I'm forgiving. No, absolutely. Forgiveness is for you. It sets your soul free. It sets your soul free. It doesn't do anything for other people. It sets your soul free. Grace. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. Listen, it works for me. If it works for me, then it works. God's funny. God's really funny. He's a great DJ. I always say he loves that song by Dawn. Dawn. Knock 3 times. Knock 3 times on the ceiling if you want me. Twice on the pipe if the answer is no. And God loves Billy Joel. He loves Billy Joel. He's always playing me Billy Joel songs. Like, when I finally come into agreement with like something that he wants for me, and I'm like, I believe you could do it, he'll play me like the longest time. I've been waiting for the longest time. Like, it's hysterical. When like I'm frustrated about like not getting something, he'll play me like Uptown Girl. Like, it's just, he just like really like loves Billy Joel. Like, I don't know what it is, like, but he just really loves Billy Joel. Billy Joel is blessed and highly favored. He's in the VIP section of heaven. Like, I'm telling you, it's just so funny to me. It's just so funny to me. It's like, and really all my angels know my guards are. When I was like feeling a little nervous about putting out the Fallacy of Feminism video, I put on the Shufflemancy, and they literally put on like, No Doubt's Just a Girl. They were like, Beyonce, like, come on ladies, now let's get in formation. And I was just like, they played me like a slew of those kind of songs, and I was just laughing my ass off. I was like, okay, I see you, come through Aphrodite, work. Like, it's so funny. There's been a DMX and Pop Smoke lately. Oh, listen, when I get nervous about something, like, they'll play me Forget About Dre. Nowadays, everybody want to talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips. Just a bunch of gibberish. These motherfuckers act. They forgot about Dre. And it's God being like, it's like the divine as a whole just being like, what, you think we don't got fucking smoke over here? Like, come on. You gonna let these people intimidate you? No. You forget who I am? And I was like, you're right. Healthy fear of the Lord. All right, you go on, be great, Jesus. You do your thing. Like, yeah, and like, spirits are not political in the way that people are political. We do that. We project that onto them. Ain't no sunshine. They keep playing me Nina Simone. I'm feeling good. Birds in the sky, you know how I feel. She's speaking through all of you to me. Yeah. It's a personal thing. So it'll be your personal playlist. God will come through as a woman, as a god, or as a guy. Like, it'll come through like whatever you want. The Great Spirit, it's personal. It's personal to you. It's a universal energy, but when it comes through your own filter, it's personal for you. I think Reem was talking about this yesterday in the stream she did with Russell and Rob, I believe. It's just something that I agree with. Back and forth conversations with this. I've been getting a lot of 70s soft rock lately. Bob Marley. Don't worry, because everything's gonna be alright. Stand up, sit down. That's why I love to include music, and also because clairaudience is my strongest clair. It's my most dominant clair. So they've always talked to me through music. So it's something that I relate to, and I'll pull more messages in from a song than I will from a card. So that's pretty much why every reading that I do, at least on the channel, has like a Shufflemancy song attached to it. Rod Stewart. Oh, hi Kirsty. Hi Noodle. Yeah, better late than never, girl. You can catch us on the replay. Pond a replay. You little birds. Yeah, there you go, Sherry. So funny, most people don't get it, but we are so strong within here. Yeah. They don't gotta get it. We get it. We understand. Don't sweat the technique, you know? You know? But, let me see. It's almost 3 o'clock, yeah. So I've been on here almost 2 hours. So I'm gonna skedaddle. Because it's almost 3 o'clock, and I've been going straight through since 8:30 this morning. And I'm a little tired. But I love you guys, and I very much appreciate you coming for the Leo season hangout. I appreciate you spending some time with me afterwards. I appreciate you all. The winners for the reading giveaway, they have been chosen, so I closed down the comments section because I thought that was the right thing to do. And then I will announce those on Sunday. So, thank you guys for participating. Thank you for coming in and spending time with me. I love you very much. Take Leo season and you just carpe that diem. All right? All right, noodles. I love you. I will see you next time. Be good or bad. Do your thing. But you stay prayed up and you stay blessed and you stay sweet. TGIF. And I will see you tomorrow.